everyone, welcome back to another episode of Screen Tested. I am your host Tyrant, where we take things from movies, TV shows, pop culture, try to create them in the real world and test them one-to-one from the media that they come from. And today we are finally taking a look at something from Elden Ring. Quite literally one of my favorite games of all time. It fights for number one with like Skyrim. Those two could go either or as my favorite games of all time. Anyway, we're going to be looking at one of my favorite weapons from Elden Ring, which is the Rivers of Blood Katana. That is correct. I am your average Rivers of Blood enjoyer. Yes. And I thought, why not do some testing since the Elden Ring DLC has just dropped? No spoilers. No spoilers. I haven't played it yet. I've been too busy. But I will play it very soon. And it will consume my life again, and I am down for that. All right, but yes, I have got one of my katanas with me today. This one here in particular, which I think will be a good analogy for the Rivers of Blood katana. And the reason why is it has massive gouges all throughout the blade, which I think will make a good analog for something like the Rivers of Blood katana because it has a lot of waves and stuff like that. Now, the Rivers of Blood katana, is it even a katana? It's actually quite large. It's like Tachi O katana size. It's even bigger than that, I think. We'll see how this thing cuts. Then we'll do some of the movesets of the Rivers of Blood katana, see if they're any good or not. And then lastly, we will do a little bit of a test that is hopefully very close to the animations. Let's get started with today's episode. Should be fun. I can't wait. It's Elden Ring, baby. Let's do it. All right, we've got a pool noodle here, a standard cutting medium. Let's see how this thing cuts through a pool noodle. I mean, seemed to cut through quite well. Okay, so the one criticism that I have of the special move of the Rivers of Blood is it basically starts off with two sweeping strikes, but then when we get to here, there's a spin, and then he does another one. And it seems like the spin is honestly pointless. Something that I should mention is that I removed the second rising strikes as they were kind of redundant. Okay, so the moveset for the most part kind of looks like this. It's a sweeping strike, spin around, strike. And then obviously he comes in for a last downwards. It's actually quite a long moveset for the most part. I need quite a lot of space to do it, so. So in terms of the Rivers of Blood moveset, I do think it's pretty good. Both the one-handed is a lot of strikes, which I think are all perfectly fine for the most part, specifically because that means you can have something in your offhand. But of course you do have the option of, two-handing these sorts of things. When it comes to the special moveset, the double sweeping movement, that's something that I've done with, larger swords before as well, and I think it's perfectly fine. I like that moveset. I'm not too keen on the spin for the most part. The double, and then there's a sort of spin around, which I'm not a fan of. I actually did do a little bit of a modification to that moveset when I was doing it. When I would come up for that second swing and I'd come around, I would actually bring the blade under to block, kind of like a sweeping block, before I came back for the second rising strike. But that's just something that I added in for the most part. But in a general sense, I do like the moveset. Now, to finish off today's episode, we've gone through some cuts, we've gone through some of the movesets. Why don't we finish out with some blood? This is the Rivers of Blood katana for the most part. So here I have Tony, our favorite Tony, or Nate 2.0, and I've got a poncho that I'm gonna put on him. Now the reason why I'm gonna put the poncho on him is very simple. It'll actually show the blood spatter. So let me figure out how to put this on him. He's tired of wearing his badass armor. Now he's gonna look like a 4th grader going on a school trip to like Niagara Falls or something. But this is important because this is important because when I do the moveset with the blood on the katana, we want to see what kind of coverage and range we can get with that sort of movement. So I shall apply the blood to my armament and we'll get started. We'll just see if we're able to actually reach him. We'll see if we're able to actually reach him with the strikes. As you can see, the blood is all over the katana. So I'm gonna stand about 2 meters. I'll measure this, don't worry, and I'll throw it up on screen. We'll do the special moves now and we'll see if we can actually get him with the tiniest little droplets. That is not even worth me showing you guys, that's nothing. The thing is, guys, honestly, I was expecting to get, I don't know, maybe like a Zorro cross. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to use a whole bunch of this other blood that I've got. There we go. Okay, so the effective distance of that particular blood spatter was nearly 2 meters, okay? 180 centimeters, so nearly 2 meters, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a fresh poncho on Tony the tiger here, so we don't contaminate the results. We want to keep this poncho for 2 meters, and this is the coverage we got. Then what we'll do is we'll move the distance closer to, let's say, 1 meter, and we'll see how much blood spatter we can get on Tony. The last cutting distance was from here. We are going to go up to here, which is about 1 meter. This is where I'm going to strike from, which I mean, I could pretty much reach out and touch him, but let's see what kind of coverage we can get with the last of the blood. I mean, that's pretty definitive for the most part, right? That is proper full coverage. We got him. The effective range of it, though, to be honest, was about 1 meter, which is, that's really, I mean, yes, we're basically flicking the blood off, right? But I still expected more of an effective range than this. And the results speak for themselves. I mean, we've got a poncho in here that shows us the exact coverage of the blood spread. But I mean, hey, anyways, that was just all of today's episode. Just a very quick, fun one, just because Elden Ring DLC's out. I love both katanas, the Rivers of Blood katana, and Elden Ring. Yeah. Oh, this looks sweet though. Check that out. So my final thoughts on the Rivers of Blood katana. Well, in the game, I love it. I am, as I said at the start, I am definitely a Rivers of Blood enjoyer. But when it comes to, you know, something analogous in the real world, the blood spread was an interesting one because I did expect it to go further. I know we're flicking something off a blade like a liquid, right? But I genuinely expected it to be a little bit more, maybe 2 meters, like a good coverage at 2 meters. We got some all right coverage at 2 meters, and then at 1 meter, we obviously got some good spread. In terms of the moveset, like I said, I actually think it's pretty good, pretty solid for the most part. The only thing I would probably change is that spin in the extended version of the special attack. I just think having that spin there for no real reason is kind of pointless for the most part, yeah? But you could modify that spin to be not practical, but somewhat more practical. Is that how you phrase that? Anyway, let me know in the comments if you enjoyed today's episode and if you've been playing the DLC. Have you been enjoying it? Because I will be playing it soon, and I probably will have another Elden Ring video at some point. I don't know when, what it's going to be on, but I will definitely do another Elden Ring video. Thanks for watching, guys. How cool does the katana look? That looks sick, man. Oh, I should just keep blood on it all the time if it, you know, didn't make it rust. But apart from that, thanks for watching, guys. And as always, I'll see you in another episode. Have a good one.